Indira Gandhi was elected in 1966 as the Prime Minister of India, despite being a female born into a society dominated by males. Her father, Jawaharlal Nehru, was the first Prime Minister of India, so Indira was born into the life of politics.
While she was Prime Minister for most of the time between 1966 and 1984, she worked hard to end problems such as overpopulation, hunger, lack of sanitation, and religious fighting. Two of her main achievements were ending the religious fighting in East Pakistan and starting the Green Revolution, which was a very important agricultural improvement. Some critics believe that she could have gone about solving these problems in a less authoritarian way. For example, her population control practices were abusive and violent. Indira was assassinated by two of her Sikh bodyguards who were retaliating against her violent actions to stop the Sikh separatist movement.
Indira Priyadarshini Nehru was born on November 19, 1917 in Allahabad, India. Her mother, Kamala Nehru, fought for India's independence from British rule and was a strong role model for Indira. Her father, Jawaharlal Nehru, served as India's first Prime Minister and also fought for India's independence from British rule. Indira was deprived of a normal childhood because her parents were in and out of jail. They were arrested by the British because Indira's parents organized protests against British rule. Indira said that in her childhood, all my games were political games. I was, like Joan of Arc, perpetually being burned at the stake. Indira and her parents mainly communicated through letters while the parents were in jail. When Indira was 18, her mother died of tuberculosis, so she became her father's hostess. As a hostess, she sat in on important meetings and greeted visiting dignitaries, such as the Dalai Lama, Charlie Chaplin, and Mahatma Gandhi. She became very familiar with the political life. Indira went to college at Oxford University and Visva Bharati University.
Indira Gandhi had a husband named Feroz Gandhi. Her last name, Gandhi, was her married name. Neither she nor her husband were related to Mahatma Gandhi, the famous non-violent Indian protest leader. Many people, including Indira's father, were against Indira and Feroz being married because of their two different religions. Indira was Hindu and Feroz was Zoroastrian. Indira once stated that she felt like everyone in India was against their marriage. Late into their marriage, Indira and Feroz became alienated. This was because Feroz faced a scandal about Indira's father's government being corrupt. This put Indira in a predicament, unsure whether to side with her father or her husband.
Indira and Feroz had two children, Rajiv and Sanjay. She was grooming her son, Sanjay, to become Prime Minister, but he tragically died in a plane crash, so she began to groom Rajiv to be her successor. Indira eventually became the president of the Indian National Congress, which is one of India's political parties. After her father died of a heart attack, she became Minister of Information and Broadcasting. After her father's successor's death, she was elected to be India's third Prime Minister.
Indira Gandhi was elected Prime Minister in 1966. She wanted to control population growth and end hunger and poverty.
During her time as Prime Minister, she started a television system, helped India launch its first satellite, and helped India test a nuclear explosion.
Indira met and worked with many other world leaders during her terms as Prime Minister, such as Margaret Thatcher, Richard Nixon, Yasser Arafat, and Jackie Kennedy.
In 1972, Indira ended the fighting in East Pakistan, which was about the disputed region of Kashmir. She invited the Pakistani president to a week-long summit where they signed the Shimla Agreement, agreeing to end the conflict peacefully. Her success in ending the conflict led to the creation of independent Bangladesh in 1971.
Another of Indira's achievements was starting the Green Revolution in an effort to end hunger. The Green Revolution expanded the number of farming areas, improved irrigation systems, and used better seeds, which doubled the amount of food produced. The Green Revolution was extremely successful. After only 1 year, India had so much food that they were able to export some of it to other countries. In fact, Canada recruited Indian farmers to teach them green revolution practices.
Critics believe that Indira could have solved India's problems in a more humane and thoughtful way. A former press advisor of Indira once described her as strangely paralyzed, unwilling to lead, afraid of her own majority. The Prime Minister has no program, no worldview, and no grand design. She has largely reacted to events and failed to shape them.
One example of Indira reacting badly was in her efforts to control the population. In 1966, Indira went to the United States to ask for food aid, but President Johnson told her that they would only give India food aid if they got their population under control. So Indira started a policy setting a maximum of 3 children per family, which was later reduced to 2. She started many strict controls, including requiring everyone to be sterilized after having 2 children. She would have her son Sanjay bulldoze whole neighborhoods so people who had not been sterilized would be sent to forced sterilization camps. Many people were killed in skirmishes with the police over this issue, and this angered the people of India.
In 1975, in response to people questioning her parliamentary election, she threw 50,000 people in jail without bringing charges. Many people wished for Indira to resign as Prime Minister. The people who were protesting against Indira used the slogan, "End dictatorship, dethrone the Queen." 2 years later, she lost an election and was arrested for corruption. After she was released from prison, she regained the trust of the people of India, ran for office, and was re-elected as Prime Minister in 1980.
Indira Gandhi was assassinated by her Sikh bodyguards on October 31, 1984. The people of the Sikh religion were angry with Indira because they wanted to separate from India, but she didn't want them to. In an attempt to stop them, she sent thousands of her troops to fight them at their Golden Temple. The Golden Temple is the holiest temple in the Sikh religion, so it's very sacred to them. Many Sikhs died when the troops attacked the temple, so the Sikhs were angry at Indira. 2 Sikh bodyguards shot her multiple times in New Delhi, India. Indira's death led to many riots and much violence in India. After Indira's death, her son Rajiv became Prime Minister, but he was assassinated in 1991. Indira once said, "Even if I died in the service of the nation, I would be proud of it. Every drop of my blood will contribute to the growth of this nation and to make it strong and dynamic."
Indira Gandhi showed leadership by ending religious wars, creating the country of Bangladesh, and reducing hunger by increasing food production. She created a legacy by helping bring India into the technological age. She also helped control India's poverty rate. Indira inspired women of the developing world, showing that women can be leaders.
However, Indira was an imperfect person. She was very aggressive at times, like when she had her son use violence to enforce her sterilization policies, or when she unfairly incarcerated a great number of political prisoners. She wanted to improve her country, but often didn't know the best way to solve its problems.
Indira was Prime Minister during a very hard time for India. There was so much division, poverty, and hunger, and it would have been hard for any leader to rule that country without making some poor decisions. Indira Gandhi faced many obstacles, and at times she made serious mistakes, but she was also able to improve her country and help her people.